What is up, guys? It is the Desolate Dragon here, welcoming you back to a long-awaited Chapter 9 of our My Little Pony fanfiction reading, Guardians of Equestria Rise of the Blue Sun. I do apologize for the long wait in the chapters. I've had a lot of other things to deal with with my family and other personal matters. I do apologize. Try and see if I can get these out more frequently, if I can and I'm not too lazy. But with all that said, let's jump into Chapter 9, Wings of an Angel. Alright. It was another day for Hawk as he was looking up to the sky, wondering what it would be like to actually fly among them. While he was daydreaming, Twilight called up to him and said, "Hawk, stop daydreaming and get us out of this mess." Hawk quickly came back to reality and remembered that Twilight and him were grabbed by a giant octopus that was terrorizing Ponyville from the rivers. He was able to free one of his hands from the monster's tentacle wrapped around him. Hawk hit the beast with a strange-looking energy ball. It had small little spikes jumping around it. Hawk didn't have time to think about that, though, and hit the octopus with it. A terrible screech came out of it, and it dropped Twilight and him. It fell into the river, where it sunk to the bottom dead. The town was saved again, and all of the ponies can continue with their business. Twilight walked up to Hawk and said, "Well, that was unexpected. When did you start using electrical powers?" "I don't know. This is the first time I use this," he answered. Twilight thought about it and said, "Perhaps your magic's starting to develop more, which means you're becoming more powerful." Sorry about that. Well, that's kind of cool," he said. Hawk thought getting a new power was cool, but there were other concerns in his mind at the moment. Twilight looked at him with concern. He hadn't been himself for some time. To her, it seemed like he was troubled by something, but didn't know what and asked, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. It's just something's been bothering me for some time," he said. "Like what?" Hawk looked at Twilight with worry. It had been more than a month since he was brought to Equestria. He soon became a hero, battled monsters now and again, learning new magic spells to use, and yet there was an emptiness in him. He felt like there was something missing from his life. He thought about it for a while, and realized that he had accomplished so much here, and he wished to show it to two people in his life. The people he never had a chance to know. He missed his parents, and he wanted to show them how much he had grown up since he was young, but they were gone. Hawk came back to reality and said, "Well, to tell you the truth, it's something I need to tell someone else about it. I mean, I want to talk to you about it, but not yet." Twilight looked at him for a moment and said, "Okay, I understand. Maybe you can talk to Fluttershy about it. She may be able to help." Hawk then said, "Alright, I'll give it a try. Thanks for understanding." "No problem," she said. Hawk then went to Fluttershy's cottage, leaving a very concerned Twilight behind. Hawk walked along the path to Fluttershy's place. When he got there, he saw all kinds of animals there and where they lived. Hawk knew Fluttershy loved animals, but didn't know that they lived with her willingly and were free to roam the area. Hawk then knocked on Fluttershy's door and waited. The door opened and Fluttershy was there. She then said quietly, "Oh, hello, Hawk. How are you?" "I'm doing well. How about you?" he asked. "Oh, wonderful. The animals are happy, the birds are singing, all the animals are resting well, and Angel is happily asleep," Fluttershy said. "Angel?" he asked. "Yes, my little bunny friend. I think you met him one time," she said. "Oh, yeah," Hawk said while he was remembering what happened. Hawk remembered Fluttershy introducing Angel to him while he was in the hospital when he first came here. Angel didn't like Hawk so much, and kicked him on the arm where it was burnt. Hawk would have gotten revenge on that bunny if it wasn't Fluttershy's pet. Though she wouldn't admit that Angel is her pet, Fluttershy looked at Hawk and said, "I'm sorry that Angel did that. He's normally nice. He was cranky because he didn't have his carrots yet." Hawk then said, "It's okay, I already forgot about it." Then he whispered to himself, "Mostly." "So what brings you out here?" Fluttershy asked. "Well, it's something personal, and Twilight suggested talking to you about it," he said. "Oh, I see. Well, come in and I'll make you some tea," Fluttershy said, letting Hawk walk into her cottage, but unknown to them that a creature with wings prepared to strike. Like the description, a creature with wings. It means this one can fly. In the cottage, Fluttershy poured tea into Hawk's cup. They then sat down at the table, and she started to listen to Hawk. She started to listen to Hawk's problem. Hawk explained to Fluttershy that recently that he misses his he missed his parents, and has been feeling depressed about it. Fluttershy thought to herself for a moment and said, "I know it's never easy to live without your parents, but what do you know? But what do you know about your parents?" "All I know is that they were good people. Sure, they made mistakes, like really big mistakes. Like, for example, they had me before they were married, but from what my grandparents told me, they never regretted it. They never regretted it, and they were glad to have me. They wanted me to be, they wanted me to be at a good school, go to church every Sunday, make friends, and have a great life," Hawk said. "Do you think you've made them proud?" she asked. Hawk thought about it for a minute. He believed that his parents would be proud of him, and that they were watching him right now. He then said with a smile, "Yeah, I bet they are proud of me. And I know they wish to be with me too. Although sometimes when I look up at the skies, I wish I can fly up and see them again." "Maybe you will someday, but right now, you would want to live on for them. You may not have known them, but I believe they knew that you would be something special, and I know that they would be proud of you, Hawk," she said, smiling. Sorry, sometimes reading on the spot I get kind of slow. When Hawk was beginning to get a bit teary, all of a sudden the windows were smashed open and caught Hawk and Fluttershy off guard. When they looked at the broken window, they saw what looked like a pterodactyl. It was large, and legs and arms. It was large, had legs and arms, and as well as wings, and reptile-like eyes that looked around the room. At first, it looked at Hawk, then its eyes looked at Fluttershy. It let out a shrieking sound that hurt both Fluttershy and Hawk's ears. It pushed him aside and grabbed Fluttershy, and then it flew off with her. But while she was screaming, Marcus was horrified. Marcus? He quickly got up and chased after the creature. Who the heck is Marcus? I don't remember. Hawk quickly looked around and saw the creature with Fluttershy flying off. He thought about using his magic to get it, but was afraid he would hit Fluttershy. He then ran as fast as he could while following them. Hawk didn't know what to do. The creature was high above the ground with Fluttershy, while he was screaming and kicking to get free. He was stumped. He couldn't do anything. He was able to fly and wished with all of his might, and then Hawk looked down and noticed he wasn't on the ground. No, more, he looked behind his back and saw angel-like wings. They were glowing bright blue and were made completely out of magic. He couldn't believe it. He was able to fly. Hawk quickly got himself together, decided it wasn't the time to celebrate, and went after the creature with flying speed. He quickly caught up to it, flew above it, and fired his new electric ball. The ball hit the creature, letting go Fluttershy, and fell down into the lake and drowned. Hawk then said to himself, "What is up with the monsters dying in the water lately?" Fluttershy was falling, and Hawk quickly caught her. She was relieved and held on to Hawk tightly. Then the two went back to the cottage. Some time had passed and the window in the cottage was fixed. Hawk, thanks to Hawk's magic, Angel went to Hawk and gave him a hug for saving Fluttershy, then bounced away. Hawk looked at Fluttershy for a moment, realized that she was a Pegasus, and she could have been able to save herself when she was falling. Hawk then asked, "Hey Fluttershy, you have wings, right? Couldn't you fly without me catching you?" "Well, I can't fly very high, and when I get scared, it's almost impossible for me to fly," she said. "Really? How come?" Hawk asked out of curiosity. I I don't want to talk about it, if you don't mind, that is," Fluttershy replied. "Oh, okay. I understand. It is why you live here on the ground with the rest of the ponies?" he asked. Well, yes, but that's not the only reason I live down here. I also live down here so I can take care of all my animal friends and stay near Ponyville so I can visit the girls whenever I want to. It's a nice life to live here," she answered with a smile. "Yeah, it is. Thanks again for listening. I guess I just needed to talk to some pony," he asked. "No problem, and come back whenever you want," she said. I will. Thank you," he said. Hawk left Fluttershy's cottage and walked his way home. As he was walking, he decided to try flying some more. He opened up his wings and started flying through the clouds. He saw all of Ponyville from the skies. There was Twilight's home, the cake shop, Rarity's home, Sweet Apple Acres, and the town's hall. As he was flying, he saw two figures in front of him. They didn't have wings, but they were waving at him. When he tried to take a closer look at them, they went behind a cloud and disappeared. Hawk was confused at what he saw and wondered who they were. It wasn't long until he thought about who they were. He smiled with tears coming out of his eyes. He continued back home to himself and said, "I'm glad that you guys are still watching me." End of chapter 9. Author's note: sorry it took so long to post another chapter. I've been busy with my new story, Star Wars: Ponies of the Old Republic. It's a story based on the game Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. If you want to check it out, you can find it in my profile. Okay, well, hope you guys enjoyed that chapter. Sorry again it took so long to get it out to you guys. Hopefully it'll be less time to get chapter 10 out. If you guys did enjoy this video, like if you did, comment to give me feedback, and to tell me how good of a job I did or how I can improve. Any feedback for me is good feedback. Subscribe to Move to the Desolate Land today. Despite the name, it's a beautiful place. We have swimming pools and barbecues all day long. I am the Desolate Dragon, and I will see you all later. Peace.